What's up guys, Runner Poker here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, we're doing episode 35 of my poker vlog, and my goodness, do I have a special episode for you guys today. Recently, I played on the Jacksonville Bestbet 2-5 deep stack live stream, and it was so much fun, and I cannot wait to share it with you guys. Without further ado, let's get right into the hands. Starting off the stream right, we're looking down at the queen mid in the big blind facing an open to 20 from +1. Although you can see our hand is severely outclassed by higher clubs, we've got a semi-connected hand at a good price in the big blind, so I give some action. We end up going heads up to this flop, and we flop the best of it on queen 7-7. We check to the aggressor, who continues for 30. I don't think there's much to do here other than just call, as even if they do have a bigger queen than us, we have lots of outs. We've got a queen or a 7 for the same boat, we have an 8 for a 2 pair, or if another high card comes, it could help alleviate some of our kicker problems. The turn doesn't give us any of those cards though, it's a 6. We check, plan to go check call again, but they check back this time too. Now, I'm pretty sure we've got the best hand, but the river really helps us make sure. We bet 75 for value, and we actually get paid off against the ace high. Feeling pretty lucky right now, and it's going to manifest even further throughout the rest of the stream. Second hand of particular note, we're in the hijack, facing an under the gun raise to 20. We look down at pocket 9s, and although we are far ahead of this particular hand, we're definitely not ahead of the range, so I proceed with a call. The button and the big blind end up coming along for the ride, so with 4 of us with 80 in the middle, we flop the best of it, you could say. Big blind checks, under the gun c-bets 50, and now it's back onto us with top set. Now, in this spot, I can either call or I can raise. Against the under the gun range, I don't think that they should really have many optimal hands here that can continue facing the pressure of a raise unless it's exactly ace high hearts or maybe the exact hand that they have. That being said, I might lose some value against their range if I raise. However, the 2 players behind me to act, their ranges are going to favor this board a lot harder. I don't want to really give them a good price to keep drawing, so I do elect to bump it up here to 150. Both of those players get out of the way, and it's back onto the under the gun player who actually has a hand that can continue on this board, so they take a turn. The turn is a pretty rough card, all things considered. It's the 7 of hearts. Although it doesn't really connect with their range or their hand a whole lot, it's a gross card in the context of the board. They check and trying not to be afraid, as they could still have some overpairs that are either drawing or just completely dry that I want to maybe get value from, as there could be as many of those combos as ace high heart combos. I keep my foot on the gas for 200. Nevertheless, they fold and we take down the pot. For hand 3, it's our turn for a premium. Looking down at pocket kings in +2, we make it 25 to go. And we get exactly what you want to see. We get 4 callers. Yikes. 125 in the middle, 5 ways, holding on to 37% of the equity, but we hold on to the best hand as we flop top set. We c-bet 2/3 pot, about $85, hoping that someone can continue with anything, but unfortunately, doesn't really look like anyone had much of anything. Everyone folds, and we're moving on. Okay, time to cover one of the single luckiest hands I've ever played in my entire life. We're looking down at ace-king offsuit in +2. We make it 25 to go. We end up going heads up out of position to this flop, so with 50 in, we get what at the time looked like a great flop. Ace-7-5. Now we can see that it's actually absolutely disastrous, as their opponent has flop bottom set. Nevertheless, I want to get some value, so I bet 40 and get smooth called. At the time, the turn bringing in a 7, I thought it was a worse card than it really was. Ultimately, looking back on this hand, I don't think they should have very many 7s here, because the 7 of diamonds blocks 7-8 of diamonds, which I thought they would have. Maybe 7-8, 7-9, 6-7 of diamonds, all those kind of paired hands with backdoor flush draws. So they can't have any of those hands, and I think I might have priced out a dry 7, like king 7 or ace 7, with the bet of 40. So they shouldn't really have many 7s here. Nevertheless, I decided to bet 60, and I don't know if this small bet is correct. I was thinking at the time, maybe if I bet small, I can incentivize flush or any kind of draws to stay in on a paired board. And it also kind of works out, since in this hand, we get raised small. In this case, since I bet small and got raised small, I think that I can continue with a larger part of my range, as we are at the top of our range for 2-pair hands. I decide to call here, and bink! That's really about all I can say. I mean, we went from 2% on the flop to backing into top boat. I mean, we're not runner poker for nothing, right? On this card though, we're out of position, and I'm thinking that if I check here, our opponent's going to check back with like 100% of their range. So what do? I get a little donkey, and I blast the pot for 300. I mean, I feel like I could do this with either kings and queens as well, since my range is going to just favor this ace a lot, and I think that lower boats may just have to concede. Nevertheless, we do actually end up getting paid off, maybe out of tilt or frustration, but that was really nice. Wow, I mean, super lucky. I mean, when's the last time you've gone from single-digit % on the flop to winning the hand? Super, super lucky. Let's go runner poker. With a limp and a cutoff raise to 30, we're looking down at the big blind with ace-queen of clubs. I decide in this spot to make it 95 to go. Could have probably made this raise a little bit bigger, facing a limp and a raise, but I'm still adjusting to the stack sizes. The limper folds and the cutoff makes the call, so we're going heads up with just about 200 in there to an absolutely disgusting board of 9-5-4 no club. This board is definitely going to favor the cutoff's range a lot more than ours, so I decide to check. The cutoff then bets 75. Now here's the thing. I know that this board favors their range more than mine. However, I don't know if they know that I know that this board favors their range. If they know that I know, then they can use a much wider part of their range, many more bluffs, to blow me off my range. Now here's the thing. If they don't know that they know that their range is better, I can call them down really wide, since that if they're trying to blow me off my range wide, I can call them down wide since they just have more bluffs. Also, the price is decent, 75, so I decided to stick in there, float one time, trying to hit a card that's better for my range, and yeah, no, it's like actually one of the worst cards in the deck. We're sitting with like 9% equity, and we fold to a bet of 125. So, yeah. Next hand of note. We're in the small blind with ace-jack of clubs facing a raise to 25 from +2. Now, the chart's from upswingpoker.com, Doug Polk, please sponsor me. I've been following you since day one. I'm a huge fan. Just please. The range charts that I have list ace-jack suited in the small blind here as just a call. I think you could go either way, honestly, but I decided to just call, and I think the reason for this is that although ace-jack suited has lots of nut potential, it's generally outclassed by the early position open hand ranges, and it's really not able to withstand a 4-bet all that well. That said, the big blind comes along too, so we're going 4 ways to this flop, about 100 in there, and it comes king high with 1 club. We check, and the aggressor continues for 60. I think that there are going to be a lot of cards in the turn that we can use to try to put a lot of pressure on a dry king, so I decided to float one time. I think that the turn 6 of spades is an unbelievably close card to turn our hand into a bluff. Obviously, the most obvious open ender of 4-5 comes in, and I think that we can have all the lower sets here that our opponent is just less likely to have. Also, since we block ace-king, it's likely that they're going to have a weaker king that gets put in a really tough spot. That said, I calm down and reason that a club or another real card would be a much better candidate to turn our hand into a bluff, so after we check and we face a bet of 125, we end up letting it go. It was a bet of 140. I goofed. Unfortunately, we run pretty card dead for a while, but that's when we pick up Queen-Jack offsuit, facing a button straddle and 2 folds. Because there are already 2 players gone, I decided to make it 30 to go. Definitely a little loose, probably should just be folding this hand, but folding is boring. We end up going 3 ways to a flop that comes ace-jack 3. Although we have range and image advantage on this board, we do have some marginal showdown value, so I decided to just check it at 2 other players. The next player to go ends up picking our action right where we left off and bets 50. There's a fold, and I decide to float, see what we can do. The turn is a king, and honestly, it keeps our equity exactly where it was on the flop, giving us a couple more outs. We check, and our opponent then bets 60. I'm not even floating at this point, I actually just have marginally direct odds to make the call to hit one of my outs. So I make the call. River, unfortunately, isn't one of those outs, it's another king. Also, it puts a weak ace in a really awesome spot since it alleviates their kicker problems. I don't really think it's a good card to just donk bluff on, so I check, taking my showdown value to the streets, but we end up losing anyway. For the last hand we're going to cover from this live stream, we're looking down at a very similar hand. Queen Jack offsuit, but this time in a much more favorable position. There's a cutoff open to 20. We call, as do both of the blinds. We're going 4 ways in position 80 into a very interesting board of King Jack Deuce, Deja Vu. The flop checks all around. The turn, similar to last hand, gives us a couple more outs. Small blind bet 60, there's 2 calls, and I can close the action with a call pretty easily here and hope we bank it one time. Unfortunately, we don't, as the river is another king, similar to last hand. Multi-way, we didn't hit it. There's some more action going in there, and we make a pretty easy fold to the new bet of $90. That's going to about wrap up the vlog for today. We were into the game for $1,200 out of the stream at $1,250, making a small profit of $50, although we were up about $650 at the peak. Now, I would like to note that the stream ran from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. and said at the end of it, if you watched it, that I was up $130. However, the stream doesn't account for rake, jackpot, and tips. I just thought it was really interesting that, $80 was paid out to the casino in one way or another. I've never really thought about it before, but that money really adds up. That's $80 that ended up coming out of my stack in order to play poker for that day. I really want to do a video on this, on why especially 1-2 is really hard to beat now, and why 2-5 is really the game you should be playing in live poker if you want to be playing live poker. But maybe that video for another day. If I haven't said it already, thank you so much to the Jacksonville Bestbet live stream for allowing me to play on your stream and using the footage for my own poker vlog. It was a lot of fun. I highly recommend going to play on the stream. It's super easy. All you have to do is email them to get your name on the wait list, and I will absolutely be doing this again. As for the B-roll today, it's been raining a lot this week in Gainesville. If you know anything about Gainesville, you know that sometimes they call it Rainsville. And we're not actually anywhere. I haven't even left the house today. So this is all fake. It's a facade. But you can be sure that in the future episodes, we will be back outside. Thank you guys so much. And remember, keep your body healthy, keep your mind healthy. This is Runner Runner Poker. Have a good one. Oh, hey, you. I know we haven't done your favorite, hold on, let me get closer. I know we haven't done your favorite hands thing in a while, so if you want to leave your favorite hand in the comments again for me to try to play all your wacky, fun, totally super good hands, you should do that, because I miss doing that with you guys, and it was a lot of fun. So, yeah. Bye!